first team that gets to say that they're going to state is the Inspire Award winner. See how that's number 2? Because number 1 is optional, which we never do. And then the winning alliance, and then the second place Inspire, and then winning alliance, first team selected, blah, blah, blah. We went down at the West qualifier, we went all the way down to number 18, the Think Award second place. Who knows what Think Award is?
You have to think about stuff.
It's a good guess, but no. The Think Award is for your notebook. So if you put a lot of time and effort into your notebook, and there's some design criteria online that'll say notebook guidelines, and there's also in the resource library you can look for the links to example notebooks and things like that. If you do that, the Think Award winner after the Inspire and Winning Alliance is the next award to go. And then finalist captain, Connect Award, finalist first team picked, etc., etc. So that's how we go. We'll have teams that have already qualified, like Checkmate has already qualified, and they will be at the thing. So if they win one of those awards, it keeps going down the list.
Wait, didn't they already win somewhere?
Well, it doesn't matter. They're only qualifying right now. So all I'm saying is if you have 5 teams that have already qualified and they happen to be spots 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, you would go down from 13, you'd go down 5 more spots. Does that make sense, everybody? So you might want to look at the awards. Let's talk briefly about what the awards are. What are the criteria for the awards?
So Laura, quick question. You're saying that an awards winner can bump somebody who wins the actual robotic competition. Well, not wins it, but places in it.
It advances along the criteria list. So it's the first team is a judged award advance, then the winning robot, then another judged award, then a robot award. So it goes back and forth all the way down the list. So awards have 50% chance of advancing, and robots have 50% chance of advancing. So the awards, if
You
you
could
look,
just have a brick instead of semi-robot and then win the
well,
Inspire Award.
very unlikely, and in fact, no. When we read the Inspire criteria, no, you wouldn't win it. Do you see the proposed judging schedule?
So, what?
This is just an example. You're going to get in your team packet when you check in.
So what day would this be?
This is Saturday morning. You're going to check in, and you're going to have in your team packet your judging time. Our judging times go from 8 till 10:05, and there'll be 4 judging rooms. So see how on the right it has panel A, B, C, D? There'll be 4 judging rooms, and you'll have a layout of the school, but it's the first wing where you walk in across from that funny stairway, across from the main hall of the main office. So you're gonna go in for judging. Now, has anyone here been through judging before? Okay, good. We have one person that's been through judging before. So the judges will have about 15 minutes that you're gonna present to them, and they're gonna ask you questions. The first, you'd like to have about a 7 to 10 minute presentation to tell the judges. Give me some ideas of what you think might be in a judging presentation. Nathan, you can tell us.
Like talking about the service hours.
So let's go. That's definitely something we want to include. The first thing you want to do is put your robot on the table, okay? And you're then going to give them your notebook. And if you apply for a control award, you'll give them your control sheet, okay? So you're gonna put your robot on the table, give them that information, and the first thing you're gonna do is introduce yourself as a team, right? So you'll have a team spokesman that says, "Hi, we're team 10694 Chromatic," or your team number thermonuclear. They call you Terror, but you're really thermonuclear.
That's what our team should have been named, Terror.
8280. So we're 8280 thermonuclear fusion. Or your, I don't know your team number, but okay, and you're 10695 and you're Obelisk. So and then it's very nice to have each team member introduce themselves and even say like, I'm Zared Robertson, I'm in 8th grade. And each person can say that, and then your team spokesperson can talk about, this is our team name, this is our team number, hey, we're a brand new rookie team, and we're we're all brand new to robotics, if that's the case, for example.
Yeah.
So give the judge a little feel about who your team is and what your team is about. In your case, you may have a couple of veterans on your team, and the rest are all rookies, right? So anything unique that you want the judges to remember, you can tell them. And then you start describing your robot. What does your robot do? Hey, we can hang reliably. That's a big accomplishment, right? So just talk a bit about your robot. If there's any special design feature that you're particularly proud of, you talk about that. And you want each person to have something to say. So as a team, you want to kind of talk about how the presentation is going to flow, and the judges notice if you have some team member that just sits there and doesn't say anything. They're looking for teams where everybody contributes, okay? So everybody tries to contribute, and it may be, we've had teams in the past that people were very uncomfortable speaking, so maybe they just had a very small part. Maybe they just talked a little bit about the outreach, or they just spoke briefly about the notebook, okay? So after that, when you're done, if you have time to time it and run through it a couple times, that helps a lot. Time it, and then say, thank you for your time. Do you have any questions? And they're gonna ask questions. So I want you guys to look at these, and you can go and Google FTC Judge and Judge Advisors Manual 2018, and you can look in Appendix B and talk about this with your team, okay? What does it mean to be a gracious professional? Right. So as a team, you want to think about a good answer to that, because that may be something that they throw at you, okay? What does your robot do? Hopefully they won't ask you that question because you've already explained what your robot does in the beginning of the presentation. If they do ask you that question, then just go through it again. You never want to roll your eyes or say anything like, well, we already told you that. I mean, that sounds self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised what we've heard in the judging room. Some very interesting things. Here's one. How did you come up with your overall design? That would be a great thing to put in your presentation. Those two, hopefully they would not have to ask you that because you've already told them about your brainstorming process and prototyping, what you did for prototyping, and how you came up with your design. When you introduce yourself at the beginning, you see the question, what role does each of your team members play? That's something you can add to the introduction that's very helpful. You could say, I'm Zarin, I'm one of the main builders, or you could say, I'm Nathan, I'm one of the main programmers. No, you're not, but you know what I'm saying? So I'm Andrew, I'm one of the builders, or you could be just the driver, which is fine too. You could say, I'm one of the drivers, okay? Driver/builder, you can say, I'm the coach/builder, anything like that, okay? So hopefully, if you've done that in your introduction, they don't have to ask that. How does your team make decisions? That's an interesting question. How do you manage your time? What did you learn by being part of the team? What if they ask you, how do you fundraise? So Park City has a bit of a reputation of teams just show up and people give them money. Did anybody on
Yeah.
Okay, so you all did
The phone?
the phone-a-thon. All your teams did the phone-a-thon. So the downside of that is the judges are going to hear that from a number of teams, right? We have 8 teams at Park City, and probably all of them did the phone-a-thon. So you just want to stress it by saying that we receive money from the Ed Foundation, and we have 2 ways of helping them raise funds. One is a day called the PC Get PC, where we reach out personally to our contacts and try to bring in funds to the Ed Foundation. And one is a phone-a-thon, where we actually call families in the school district, okay? So that's the main 2 ways that we raise funds. And we do it as a club. So even though I'm making the call, it's on behalf of all the teams, but every, you could say if, for example, 4 people from your team participated, you can add that if it's a nice number. If only 1 person did, you might not want to add that. You can just say our team. But if you had something cool, like every person on our team participated in the phone-a-thon, that's kind of cool. And so you can even put that in your presentation when you're talking about community outreach. if you did a science night or a science fair or any of those things, talk about that and talk about how you raised funds. So if you use sort of this as a little bit of a guide, it kind of will help you structure your presentation. The one I really like, because they talk about how do you market your team. That's a little bit tougher because marketing, that's kind of your branding. So right now you maybe just have t-shirts, you know, so that's a little bit tougher on how do you market your team. And one thing you might say is we are working on that, and we plan to do, you know, we've been focused really on getting a robot ready for the qualifier, but we plan to work on that further after the qualifier. So that's always a good answer if you kind of haven't done anything yet as a team because you haven't had time. That's kind of a good answer.
What do some of the teams do to market? Some strong.